It's 21 minutes past 8. The Princess of Wales says that learning social and emotional skills must be prioritised if society is going to be healthier and happier.
Yeah, she's written the foreword to a new framework for action on the issue. It's published by the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood, which aims to improve the lives of young families. Our senior royal correspondent, Daniela Ralph, has more.
Visiting a children's hospice in South Wales a few days ago, the Princess of Wales is continuing her gradual, phased return to public life. But as we see her do more royal duties, it's clear she'll resume her focus on young families and early childhood. Before her cancer treatment, many engagements saw the Princess working with parents, carers and children under the age of 5. The Royal Foundation on Early Childhood has now published a detailed framework, supported by experts in child development, on improving social and emotional skills in families and showing how that can benefit wider society. In her foreword to the publication of the framework, the Princess lays out her thinking. To create a physically and mentally healthier society, we must reset, restore and rebalance, she says. It means getting much better at acting with compassion and empathy towards one another, better understanding how we can protect and build upon what connects and unites us. The new framework identifies 30 life skills which develop in early childhood, skills which vary according to background. The challenge is now to roll the framework out widely to organisations working with young families. Kensington Palace say the Princess continues to be extremely passionate about this area of her public duties and wants to make a meaningful contribution to a happier and healthier society. Daniela Ralph, BBC News.
Well, joining us now is Neil Leitch, Chief Executive of the Early Years Alliance. Good to see you this morning. How important is focusing on social and emotional skills at this age, then?
I think it's absolutely critical, frankly. I mean, for a sector that is increasingly seeing more and more children arrive in nurseries, preschools and with childminders, for example, with social, emotional and development needs, more support required, then I think this particular initiative, dare I say, is timely and appropriate, so pretty critical to say the least.
It's difficult for parents of young children, isn't it? Because often both parents are working, they've got a lot on their plate, and to over-focus on parenting can add extra stress. What would you say to those parents?
Well, I know that parents are under stress, and I think over the last, dare I say, decade, we've sort of pushed more and more parents back into a working environment, and we've lost what might be in the best interest of children. So something that refocuses, a programme that refocuses on trying to give support to parents and to settings, frankly, as I say, is absolutely timely. But I think we have to, it's not about preaching to parents, it's about supporting parents, and I think we have to, as the Princess says, reset what our priorities are, frankly. So timely, appropriate.
What sort of support do you think, Neil, that parents need? What's best for them?
I think they need time. I mean, one of the things that, to say that we have been pushing over the last decade is that it's been this drive to effectively push parents back into work. And parents, when I talk to them, tell me that they don't have enough time when they, for example, come home. They're rushing off in the morning. They're trying to sort of get the children off to school, trying to get to work. When they come home in the evening, they're, dare I say, making the bed that they missed in the morning. And I often find parents in tears because they feel guilty that they haven't had enough time to attach to their children, to support their children. So I think, as I say, parents need support, and certainly early years providers and early years educators can do a lot to help them with that.
That feeds into so many wider issues, though, doesn't it? Most parents go back to work because they have to. They're under stress financially, and often it's the woman that's taken the career hit, if you like. So in order to address that, to give them the time that parents need, it's a much wider conversation.
Well, I think it's about priorities. And the reality is this, is somebody asked me the other day, a journalist in fact asked me, what does success look like when a child moves on from an early years setting or a childminder into, as they termed it, big school? And I found myself saying, I don't care if they can recite the alphabet, if they can count to 100, if they can name 5 planets. Success for me is effectively a child that is kind, empathetic, gentle, goes on to support other people in their lives. Because, my goodness, at this particular point in time, if you look at what's going on in the world, if we are to have any chance of being on this planet in 200 years' time, we need kind, empathetic children. There is no point in creating the brightest sparks in the world if they do not hold kindness. So reprioritise what's important. I don't particularly, and I'm sure lots of people don't want to live in a world where we have unkind people but very smart people. So go back to basics, soft skills. Good social and emotional development is critical.
And that requires, I guess, social interaction. And I just wonder, and it's something we talk about and people talk about a lot in relation to children these days, but it's unavoidable. How much of an issue is and are screens?
I missed that point. I'm sorry. I could just
How much of an issue are screens in terms of, you know, kids being immersed in their own world through a screen rather than in a social setting in a family?
Well, again, it comes back to allowing interaction, allowing discovery and reprioritising, I think, what we need. They are important, of course they are, but we shouldn't be fixated on school readiness. We should be fixated on developing good, kind citizens. And that's where this particular programme and this work focuses. Long overdue, a priority, and certainly well needed, I would suggest.
And always welcome, I'm sure, when the Princess involves herself in mission statements like that. Neil, thank you so much for your time. That's Neil Leitch, who's CEO of the Early Years Alliance. Interesting stuff. 27 minutes past 8.